Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Ryan. Welcome back to Speak Up, the podcast that helps you build real English skills in real life. If you're new here, we're so glad you joined us. And if you're returning, welcome back. Today's topic is something many English learners struggle with: how to start thinking in English. It sounds difficult at first, but don't worry. We're going to break it down in a way that makes sense.
Hey friends, I'm Priya, and I'm excited about this one. Thinking in English is one of the biggest steps towards speaking fluently, but most people don't even know how to begin. It's not about being perfect. It's about building habits that slowly train your brain to use English without stopping to translate. And trust me, it's easier than you think.
Right. Most of us grow up thinking in our native language, and we carry that habit into English. But if you always translate in your head, it slows you down and creates mistakes. That's why learning to think in English can change everything. We'll show you some simple ways to start doing it, even if you're just learning the basics.
Exactly. Whether you're commuting, cooking, or just sitting with a cup of tea, you can practice thinking in English in small moments every day. It's not about grammar or big words. It's about creating an English environment in your mind. Let's dive in and show you how to get started right where you are.
So we've just talked about how thinking in English can really help you speak more naturally. Now, let's dig into what it actually means to think in English. A lot of people hear this phrase and think, wait, does that mean I have to be fluent first? The answer is no, it's not about fluency. It's about forming a habit. When we say think in English, we mean training your brain to use English for simple, everyday thoughts without stopping to translate. Even if you're just thinking, I need to buy milk in English, that's thinking in English. It starts small, and that's the whole point.
Yes, and I love that you said it's not about fluency. Many learners believe they can only start thinking in English once they're advanced, but that's not true at all. Thinking in English is just about choosing to think in English, even with very basic phrases. It's like building a muscle. You don't wait to get strong and then go to the gym. You build strength by showing up daily. Same idea here. Try this. When you're walking to the kitchen, just say in your head, I'm walking to the kitchen. That's how the English mindset begins. Simple, real-life thinking.
Exactly. And one thing that really helps is noticing how often you translate in your head. You know, when you're about to speak and you think it in your native language first, then try to turn it into English. That takes time and can cause confusion. But if you can train yourself to skip that step just a little, you'll start to notice how much easier English becomes. For example, instead of thinking "man market jada hahun" and translating it, just think "I'm going to the market." It's not magic, it's just a shift in habit.
That's so true. And this doesn't need to happen out loud. You can start doing it quietly in your mind. For example, when you're planning your day, try doing it in English. Like, okay, I'll clean the house, then go to work, then call my friend. You don't need fancy grammar, just use the words you know. That's how your brain starts to feel comfortable with English. Over time, your thoughts start coming in English naturally, without pressure. It's not fast, but it works if you stick with it.
Another great example is grocery shopping. Think in English while writing your list. Eggs, bread, tomatoes, or when you're in the store, think, I need to find the milk. These tiny moments matter. You're not just practicing vocabulary, you're telling your brain, hey, this is the language we use now. That's how you build the English mindset. And guess what? You'll make mistakes in your thoughts too, and that's completely fine. No one hears them but you.
Exactly. And those mistakes actually help you grow. Thinking in English is a safe space. It's just you and your thoughts. No pressure, no judgment. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You're rewiring your brain step by step. So don't wait for perfect grammar or a big vocabulary. Just begin with what you know. Whether it's your to-do list or how you're feeling, say it to yourself in English. That's the real meaning of thinking in English. Not fluency, just a habit.
So now that we know what it means to think in English, let's talk about why translating slows you down. If you're always thinking in your native language first and then trying to turn it into English, you're adding extra steps. It's like having a delay in your brain. Before you even speak, you're doing a full translation process in your head, and that creates a traffic jam. You pause more, second-guess your words, and sometimes just stay silent instead of speaking.
Exactly. I've seen this with so many learners. They know what they want to say, but by the time they translate it and try to speak, they either forget the English word or feel unsure. That's where hesitation comes from. And it makes you lose confidence. You start to think, I can't speak English, when really, your brain is just stuck in translation mode. That's why learning to stop thinking in your native language is a huge step towards speaking more fluently.
And here's a simple way to picture it. It's like trying to drive while looking in the rearview mirror. You're not looking ahead in English, you're looking back at your native language first. That slows you down and makes the whole journey feel confusing. But if you train your English brain to drive forward, you'll move faster, smoother, and with more confidence. You stop overthinking and start speaking more naturally.
That's such a great metaphor, Ryan. Driving forward, that's what we want. And the truth is, your brain is smart. It can learn to think directly in English if you give it the chance. But it needs practice and permission. So instead of asking yourself, how do I say this in English? Try asking, what's the English thought I can use here? That's a small shift, but it leads to fluent English speaking much faster over time.
Absolutely. And the more you practice skipping translation, the more automatic it becomes. At first, it feels weird or uncomfortable, but that's okay. It's just like building a new road in your brain. The old road, your native language, is still there, but you're building a faster highway with English. Soon that new path becomes your default, especially in common situations like ordering food, talking about your day, or asking simple questions.
Right. And when you stop translating, your speaking becomes more natural. You're not just speaking English, you're thinking in it. And that's where confidence starts to grow. You stop worrying about mistakes, you start expressing your real thoughts, and the best part? You sound like yourself, even in a new language. That's the power of switching off translation and turning on your English brain.
All right, so here's where it gets really practical. Let's talk about English self-talk. One of the easiest ways to start thinking in English is by narrating your daily actions in your head. For example, when you wake up, say to yourself, I am getting out of bed. Then, I am brushing my teeth. These short sentences help your brain get used to using English without pressure. No one hears you. It's just you and your thoughts, practicing quietly.
Yes, and it's so helpful to keep things simple. Use the present tense, things like, I make tea, I check my phone, I get ready for work. These are all actions you do every day. By using English internal dialogue, you're creating a habit. It may seem basic, but this small change makes your brain start choosing English first, without you even realizing it. That's the power of daily repetition.
Exactly. And the great thing is you don't need a textbook or a tutor to do this. You can start right now, at home. When you're doing dishes, think, I am washing the plates. When you're folding clothes, think, I fold my shirt. This kind of English practice at home builds your confidence in a quiet, low-pressure way. Over time, it becomes automatic.
And don't worry about grammar too much in the beginning. If you make mistakes in your self-talk, that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. You're building an English thinking habit. And since it's just in your head, you can repeat the same sentence 10 times if you want. For example, I close the window. I close the window. I closed the window. That repetition helps your brain connect English to real actions.
I love that. And this also works great in the mirror. You can say your thoughts out loud while getting ready. I am putting on my shirt. I comb my hair. Saying it out loud adds even more power because you're hearing yourself speak in English. That boosts your comfort level and gets your brain used to forming full sentences in real time, just like you would in a conversation.
Right. And you can do this during almost anything. Walking, cooking, cleaning, or even just sitting quietly. It doesn't take extra time. You're already thinking during the day, so why not think in English?
The more you practice English internal dialogue, the more natural it becomes. This is how real progress starts, not in a classroom, but in your everyday life.
All right, let's talk about a super practical technique, labeling your environment. This is one of the easiest ways to learn English vocabulary without even realizing it. Just look around your home and start mentally naming objects in English. For example, when you see your chair, say in your head, chair. Look at your window, say window. Even if it feels too simple, it works. You're training your brain to connect English words to real-life objects.
Yes, and if you want to take it a step further, use sticky notes. Seriously, grab a stack of them, write the English word on each one, and stick them around the house. Put mirror on your mirror, door on your door, fridge on your fridge. This technique is called object labeling in English, and it helps build instant word recall. Every time you walk by, your eyes see the word and your brain remembers it naturally.
It's such a simple method, but so powerful. And you don't have to label everything at once. Just start with 5 to 10 items in each room. That's manageable and still super effective. This kind of English at home exposure creates small learning moments throughout the day. You're not memorizing words, you're living with them. That's what makes them stick.
And if you prefer digital tools, there are flashcard apps that let you create your own image-based cards. Take a picture of something in your home, type in the English word, and quiz yourself. This builds visual memory too, which is great for remembering vocabulary long-term. Whether you use sticky notes or your phone, you're surrounding yourself with English, and that's the goal.
Exactly. And here's the key point. Consistency beats complexity. You don't need big words. Start with everyday items you see and use. Even labeling just cup, table, phone, shoes, that's already 4 English words your brain will see and remember every day. Keep it consistent and you'll build vocabulary without even sitting down to study.
Right. And once these basic words become natural, you'll notice something cool. You stop thinking in your native language for them. You see the object, and the English word comes to mind automatically. That's the real benefit of labeling. It teaches your brain to use English first. So wherever you are, your kitchen, your bedroom, even your office, use your space as your classroom. Let your home teach you English.
So here's a cool strategy that helps you think in English naturally, and that's using visual thinking instead of translation. Most people try to learn new words by matching them with the word in their own language, but that keeps the brain stuck in translation mode. A better way is to connect English words to images. For example, when you hear the word apple, don't picture the word in your native language, just picture an actual red apple in your mind. That's how native speakers learn, through images, not translation.
Yes, and when you train your brain this way, it becomes faster and more automatic. You see something and the English word pops into your head. No translation needed. That's what we call visual vocabulary. It's about making strong mental connections. So instead of apple equals say equals apple, it's just apple equals apple. The image is direct, powerful, and easy to remember. And it's fun too, almost like turning your brain into a picture dictionary.
And you can start small. Take 10 everyday words and focus on building an image for each one. Say chair, then picture the chair in your living room. Phone, picture the one you use every day. This method helps you learn English fast because it cuts out the middle step of translating. You're building direct pathways in your brain, and those are way faster and more natural over time.
I totally agree. And to make it even easier, use flashcard apps like Inky or Quizlet. You can upload pictures of real objects or even draw your own if you enjoy sketching. Just match the English word with the image. No need for your native language at all. This kind of visual training builds deep memory and helps you think in English naturally, especially when you practice it often.
And the best part? This method works great for all ages and levels. Whether you're just starting or already have a basic vocabulary, switching to images makes a huge difference. Plus, it's something you can do without a teacher. You're not just learning words, you're building connections that stick. That's the real trick to remembering vocabulary long term.
Right. And once your brain gets used to this, you'll notice you're not asking, how do I say this anymore? You'll just know. Because the English word is tied to a picture in your mind, not a translation. That's how you learn English fast and naturally, by training your brain to think like a native speaker with images first, words second.
All right, here's another fun and super effective method. Practice micro conversations with yourself. What does that mean? It's simple. You create short, imaginary dialogues in English, just like a role play, but in your own head. Or even better, say them out loud. For example, imagine you're at a coffee shop. Say, "Hi, can I get a small cappuccino, please?" Then imagine the person says, "Sure, anything else?" And you answer, "No, that's all, thank you." These tiny scenes are a great form of English speaking practice.
Yes, and you can do this anytime, while cooking, walking, or even waiting in line. Pretend you're greeting someone. "Good morning, how are you today?" Then respond as the other person. "I'm good, thanks. How about you?" These micro conversations may be short, but they train your brain to speak without thinking too hard. That's exactly how you speak English fluently, not by memorizing long speeches, but by practicing the small talk that happens every day.
And don't be shy about repeating the same ones again and again. Repetition is your friend. The more you do these quick dialogues, the faster your brain gets at forming sentences. It's kind of like a workout. You're exercising your English brain in short bursts. And the more real-life situations you imagine, ordering food, asking for directions, calling a friend, the more ready you'll be when the real moment comes.
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about building confidence. These little conversations help you speak without stopping to think or translate. And since it's just you, there's no pressure. If you make a mistake, you can fix it and try again. That's what makes it such a great tool for daily English practice. You're not just studying, you're simulating real life in English.
And here's a tip. If you ride the bus or walk to work, use that time for these mini dialogues. Pick a situation, imagine the English version, and go for it. Let your brain get used to switching into English mode on the go. It builds fluency faster than you'd expect because it becomes part of your daily routine.
That's the key. Make it part of your day. You don't need a classroom to practice. Your mind is your practice space. So next time you're making breakfast, try talking to yourself in English. "I need 2 eggs. Where's the salt?" These small daily scenes are powerful. They'll help you speak English fluently by turning your thoughts into real words, one micro conversation at a time.
Now let's talk about one of the easiest ways to boost your English thinking. Listen and respond silently. This means when you're watching a video, listening to a podcast, or even overhearing a conversation in English, try to pause and think, what would I say in that situation? You're not speaking out loud, you're training your mind to respond in real time. It's a powerful form of English listening practice that sharpens both your understanding and speaking skills.
Yes, and the best part, you don't need anyone to practice with. You can do this by yourself, anytime. Just find a short English video on YouTube or listen to an English podcast. After each line or question, pause and silently answer. For example, if someone in the video says, "What's your favorite movie?" Pause and think, "My favorite movie is..." This kind of thinking builds real-time reflexes and helps you improve English speaking without pressure.
Right, and you don't need to make it complicated. Short dialogues work great for this, especially those used in daily life. Think of a restaurant scene or a casual chat between friends. The more often you listen and mentally reply, the faster your brain gets used to forming English responses. It's like mental role play, and over time, it becomes automatic. That's what we call building an English immersion experience for your brain.
Exactly. And even if you can't understand every word in a podcast or video, that's okay. Focus on what you do understand and build your response from that. You'll get better at guessing meaning from context, and your brain learns to fill in the blanks naturally. That's a huge part of real-world English. You don't always need perfect understanding to keep thinking in English.
Here's a tip. Choose content that feels natural to you. If you like comedy, watch short English skits. If you enjoy learning, try educational podcasts. And don't just listen passively. Engage your mind.
Even when you're not speaking out loud, you're still training your brain to think and respond in English. That's active listening, and it's what leads to real progress.
So true. It's like building a conversation muscle inside your head. With enough English immersion, you'll notice something amazing. Your brain starts reacting in English first, without translation, and that's the goal. So the next time you watch a video or hear an English sentence, pause and ask yourself, what would I say? That silent response? That's real English thinking in action.
Finally, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to start thinking in English: replacing your daily thoughts with English equivalents. Every day we think simple things like, I'm hungry, it's cold, or I need to call someone. Most people think these in their native language automatically. But what if you could catch those thoughts and switch them into English? That's the heart of English brain training. It's about replacing, not adding.
Yes, and the beauty of this is you already know the situations. You just need to start saying them to yourself in English. Begin with short, everyday English phrases that you actually use. Here's a list of 10 to get you started. I'm tired. I'm hungry. It's too hot. I forgot my keys. What time is it? I have so much to do. Where is my phone? I'll do it later. That looks nice. I don't understand. These are thoughts we all have, so let's just think of them in English.
Exactly, and you don't need to force it. Just start noticing your own thoughts during the day. When you hear something in your head in your native language, pause and say, wait, how would I say that in English? That small pause helps your brain learn to think in English one sentence at a time. It's like rewiring your brain for a new default setting. English first, translation second, or not at all.
And don't worry if it feels slow at first. That's normal. You're breaking a habit that's been with you for years. But with regular practice, you'll start noticing that some English thoughts just pop into your head without trying. That's the sign your brain is adjusting, and it's a huge step forward in English brain training.
Right, and all these techniques we've talked about today, internal dialogues, labeling, visual thinking, micro conversations, silent responses, and thought replacement, they all work together. You don't have to do them perfectly, just do them often. English fluency isn't only about speaking. It's about building a way of thinking that supports your words.
That's the perfect note to end on. You're not just learning English, you're living it. And every small effort you make builds confidence and fluency over time. So whether you're walking, eating, working, or relaxing, your mind can be practicing English in the background. That's the real secret.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We hope you found these tips helpful and easy to follow. Remember, thinking in English is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent.
Exactly, and we're proud of every one of you taking this journey seriously. You've got this. Keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and we'll be here to support you every step of the way. This is Priya.
And I'm Ryan, and you've been listening to Speak Up. Take care, keep speaking up, and we'll see you in the next episode.